Being a center is not easy to do. You're right in the middle. All eyes are on you. The biggest, the strongest, the tallest by far. You're expected to rebound, to shoot, and to spar. Life's often lonely way down in the paint. Some sights are so scary you wish you could faint. The hours are long and the work is real tough. Sometimes you feel you've just had enough. But life can be grand above all the rest, above all the thieves, above the bird's nest. So it's not so bad in the thick of things. It's a noble position that's worthy of kings. Sports Illustrated presents an NBA entertainment production of Centers, the NBA's great rivals. Are the legendary centers only a memory, or is the reality being redefined? Two young men, both foreign-born, lead their teams to the collegiate championship game. The University of Houston meets Georgetown.
They are really going after each other. Both men extremely strong.
Hakeem Olajuwon from Nigeria in his third NCAA season, and Patrick Ewing from Jamaica are both young, strong, raw talents, pushing each other to excel.
And Hakeem blocked it. He's got to be careful. He'll pick up that spread the court out this
And
way.
to learn the nuances of the game. Georgetown plays better as a team and wins the NCAA crown 84-75. The victorious Hoyas will have Ewing back for his senior year, while the despondent Olajuwon will leave college early for a new challenge.
The Houston Rockets select Hakeem Olajuwon of the University of Houston.
For the second year in a row, NBA Commissioner David Stern reveals the Rockets have used the first pick in the draft to choose an All-American center, teaming Olajuwon with 7'4" Ralph Sampson. In his rookie season, Hakeem is second in the league in blocked shots. And scores over 20 points per game as Houston's victory total improves by 19. The New York Knicks choose first and claim Patrick Ewing. With his first NBA basket, Knick fans are delirious. After a decade of mediocrity, the franchise will be reborn, and Patrick Ewing will be the force that propels New York back among the NBA's elite. Ewing is Rookie of the Year, a 7-footer with speed and quickness beyond the imagination of centers in the NBA's early years. In the late 40s and early 50s, George Mikan of the Minneapolis Lakers is the league's dominant center. Mikan averages nearly 30 points a game in an era when teams only score around 80, leading the aggressive Lakers to 5 NBA titles in 6 seasons. In the mid-50s, Neil Johnston of Philadelphia becomes a 3-time scoring champion with the help of his graceful hook shot. But the position of center is about to be revolutionized. A wiry 6'10", Russell blends quickness, desire, and intelligence to redefine the art of defense.
What I used to love to do was determine who would take the shot by physical moves and then try to block that shot. And a lot of times I get it.
With this extraordinary timing, he would hit the ball most of the times underneath the ball. So he just pop it. And most of the times when he blocked the shot, we got the ball.
He was a guy that had such vicious determination as far as winning a ball game, and he had the mind to just use every little thing in the book of fundamentals to beat the other team.
You asked me to pick one player to start a franchise with of all I've ever seen, I'd pick Bill Russell. You know, all I've seen today, all I've seen 10 years ago, and all I've seen 20 and 30 years ago. To me, he's been the dominant player that I think in professional basketball.
The most physically dominant player in NBA history, Chamberlain was also among the most versatile.
I like to think of myself as being as complete as I could possibly be, with the exception of the foul line. And if you have a bad day shooting, I always would say, well, Wilt, then you have to go to the boards that much harder. If you have a bad day on the boards, you have to play defense that much harder. But I always, before every game, said to myself, now this is what I need to do in this game for me to be good in this game and be a valuable asset to my team.
Wilt has achieved records in this league that there is no way they will ever be broken.
Without even feeling ashamed, I was in awe of Wilt Chamberlain. Of course, I remember being in college when I got the newspaper, and the newspaper said that he had scored 100 points, where I thought it was a typographical error. And I found out later that it was true.
If I had to think about people breaking my records once again, see, no, I didn't think about that. No more than I think about people breaking my rebound record, or people never fouling out of a game, or centers leading the league in assists. If I really was conscious about thinking about, is anyone going to break this record? I'd have probably put that record way out of sight.
Like all great rivals, the careers of Chamberlain and Russell will be forever linked together.
All the things he did, his team was always a contender. I'd say 85 or 90% of the time they were a team you had to beat to get the championship.
2 seasons after moving west, the Warriors meet the Celtics for the NBA crown.
We were a better team, emotionally, intellectually, and in most cases physically, as a team, as a unit.
Only 2 seasons after he averaged over 50 points per game for the season, Wilt is still the focus of the Warrior attack. However, the balanced team play of the Celtics, with their lineup of all-stars, give Boston a 3-1 lead deep into the 5th game. And in the final moments, it is Russell who seals the victory.
He played for a great basketball team that had a great coach, and he was a great player himself. But you know what? Teams win, not individuals. And that's proven right down the line in every doggone sport.
Before the 66-67 season, Russell becomes coach of the Celtics, and Wilt begins his second full season back in Philadelphia with the 76ers. For the first time in his career, Wilt is part of a talented and balanced team. Their struggle is fierce, and Russell has one of his finest playoff efforts. But Wilt's leadership helps dethrone Boston in 5 games, ending their incredible run of 8 consecutive championships. The finals are almost anticlimactic. The Sixers, proud of their all-time NBA regular season record of 68-13, complete their mission by defeating San Francisco in 6 games. After 7 seasons of individual glory, it is Chamberlain's first taste of ultimate victory. Traded to the Lakers in the summer of 1968, Wilt changes his style of play to complement the great all-around talents of all-stars Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. In their final series together, Russell and Chamberlain are now both defensive specialists. In Game 7, Russell and Sam Jones, in their final game before retirement, lead Boston to a huge first-half lead. The Lakers close the gap, but with under 6 minutes remaining, Wilt hobbles to the bench and does not return. In the last minutes of furious action, Don Nelson's jumper clinches the game for Boston. Russell's legacy is complete. In his 13 seasons, the Celtics win 11 world championships. As Russell's great career winds down, another Louisiana native becomes a force in the NBA. Willis Reed, at center, is Rookie of the Year for New York in 1965, but is shifted to forward when Walt Bellamy is acquired the following season.
I think it gave me a chance to learn some of the skill things you have to learn to be a big forward in the NBA at that time. Eventually, in December of '68, when I went back to being a center, I think it made me a better all-around center, a different kind of center that probably could create more problems for the larger big men that played in the NBA at the time.
Reed combines raw power with a delicate shooting touch to lead the rapidly improving Knicks, a franchise that had never won a championship. New York, with the league's best regular season record, meets Los Angeles. Reed is the NBA's most valuable player in 1970. While Chamberlain has sat out almost the entire season with a knee injury. Each team wins 2 of the first 4 games, including a pair of overtime thrillers to set up the crucial 5th game in New York. Suddenly, a rugged series becomes legendary.
So the Knicks take over. Frazier down court to Bradley. Top of the key to Reed. He's triple team, falls down. We got a whistle on the play, and Willis is hurt.
Willis was our leader. He was the big man. He was the enforcer. He was the guy who had the unusual combination of delicate touch and awesome strength.
Willis looks to be hurt, and he is being helped over to the Knicks bench.
Without their captain and facing an 18-point deficit, the Knicks focus their emotions and furiously begin to claw their way back. Finally, in the fourth quarter, a jumper by Bill Bradley gets them even. Dave Stallworth punctuates the Knicks' 7-point victory. Reed's injured hip keeps him out of Game 6, and Wilt is virtually unstoppable as the Lakers power their way to a 22-point rout. The final game will be in New York.
Everybody's wondering, where's Willis? The fact that Wilt had just scored 45 points against the late Nate Bowman, they figured, hey, we're knowledgeable fans. We know that we got to have Willis.
Here comes Willis.
When he appeared, we went to one plateau. When the Garden reacted, we went to another plateau.
Left side of the lane, outside Reed, jumps from 20. Yes.
When he hit his first 2 shots, we were gone.
Playing virtually on one leg and scoring a total of only 4 points, Reed inspires his teammates to a 14-point victory and their first NBA crown.
Eventually, somewhere during my lifetime, I would have to say to myself, boy, I wished I had played that night. I wasn't gonna let that happen because that was my moment. It was our time.
Standing 6 feet 7 inches tall, Hall of Famer Wes Unseld gives inches away to every center in the league. But no one has a fiercer desire to compete or the knowledge to use his body to its best advantage under the basket.
I tried to prepare myself for each game that for 48 minutes, I was going to do whatever I had to do to you to make sure that you were not going to be the reason why we lost the game.
Unseld is the only player other than Chamberlain to be voted Rookie of the Year and League MVP the same season. He is tough and respected.
I always enjoyed playing against Wes. It was always a great series because he was a tremendous player, great competitor, and had great leadership abilities.
I call heads. The coin has come up tails.
The luck of a coin toss begins the NBA's longest and most honored career. In 2 decades, the game and its players will change, as will the young man who lives through it all and will eventually become its all-time leading scorer.
The guy has always wanted the ball. I've always said that. And when you give him the ball, he's going to usually do something good with it. So if you had to have anybody at the end of the game, take Kareem.
A once close friendship between Wilt and Kareem changes as their professional rivalry grows. But a lasting respect takes its place.
One of the greatest players ever. Very physically imposing and dominating player.
They will meet in the playoffs twice, and each man will win a series on his way to the NBA championship. But Kareem will refine the shot that becomes his signature on the court. The skyhook. Starting his motion from the shoulder up, Kareem's hook shot will become almost impossible to block. Nate Thurmond is one of basketball's truly great players who never receives the recognition he deserves in his 14-year NBA career as a defensive genius.
But you have to play defense tough. You have to let people know that this is my territory, and I really was offended when anybody got a shot off around me. I wanted to stop everything that I could.
Never a classic shooter, Thurmond is a good scorer who always plays toughest against the best opponents.
The player that really was the most effective against me was Nate Thurmond, who was playing for the Warriors at that time.
Nate played me the toughest within the rules. There are other guys that played me tougher, but they were all about playing something close to football. I feel that he's one of the greats ever to play the game.
This deep respect for Thurmond is borne out by the ultimate recognition a player can receive. In the decade of the 1970s, no player will compete with more intensity than Dave Cowens. At 6'9" and 235 pounds, Cowens is undersized for a center, yet averages more rebounds per game over a 5-year span than any other player.
At the time, they said, is Dave Cowens going to be able to fill Bill Russell's shoes? And right there, from the first time that I heard that comment, I said, hey, there's nobody who's going to be able to fill his shoes, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And I'll give you a good day's work for a good day's pay, and that's about it.
The two best teams during the season, Milwaukee and Boston, meet in a series that heats up as it progresses. The teams trade victories through 5 games, with the Celtics holding a 3-2 edge going into Game 6. Cowens struggles defensively against Abdul-Jabbar, who averages a torrid 32 points per game. Cowens is quicker and plays with his usual intensity, but has to battle against a huge disadvantage in height. Anxious to end the series on their floor and avoid returning to Milwaukee for a deciding 7th game, the Celtics carve out an early 5-point lead. Boston is committed to playing Kareem one-on-one, and he exploits the advantage.
I had espoused the philosophy of playing against Jabbar, where I challenged him to be great against my smallest center, Dave Cowens. I gave no help to Dave Cowens when he got at Jabbar.
The teams are battling on even terms when a key moment occurs in the first half. Called for his third personal foul, the Celtics center will sit out most of the second quarter. The Bucks use this opportunity to build their lead up to 12. Cowens returns late in the quarter to help cut Milwaukee's advantage to 7 at the half.
It was a pace game. If it was a slow-down game, it favored the Bucks. If it was an up-tempo game, it favored us.
In the fourth quarter, the Bucks go up by as much as 10 points. But John Havlicek starts a Celtics rally. The pace is furious in the final minutes when extraordinary efforts become the norm.
I only remember being very tired and not able to get my feet underneath me. When I got there, I just kind of trying to get the ball in as it was squirting away from me. And I think they called a jump ball or something. You know, somebody came over, I couldn't get rid of it. But if I could have got my feet underneath me, I had a layup.
8 seconds remain, and the game is tied when Boston's defense reacts quickly to the ball. And a hurried shot by John McLaughlin is short at the buzzer. The intensity continues in overtime as first Curtis Perry's great play puts the Bucks ahead by 2. Then John Havlicek refuses to fail, sending the contest into a second overtime. The teams trade baskets until 1:30 remains, and Cowens fouls out. Havlicek again hits in the clutch, and Boston is poised for victory. Milwaukee has time for one play.
We called the play to set up John McLaughlin for a shot.
I was sitting on the bench. Hank Finkel was guarding Kareem at the time. I had fouled out, cheap foul, really.
That didn't work. I had to come out past the free throw line area and inbound the ball.
Kareem drives to the baseline. The ball is up. It's good. The Bucks win it.
We won that game. It was really an incredible victory for us because we were supposed to lose there in Boston Garden. And I remember that night after the game, I couldn't sleep.
Desperate to control Kareem, the Celtic coaching staff overnight devises a daring switch in their defensive strategy. Cowens will now receive help from a forward to double-team Jabbar, leaving Bucks forward Cornell Warner unguarded.
All of a sudden in the 7th game, I decided I would catch Larry Costello, not expecting a different defensive setup. And I double-teamed Jabbar, and I left Cornell Warner open. And I said, well, if we're going to get beat, Cornell Warner's going to win the MVP.
I was to play in front of Kareem, and Dave was to play in back of him. And it worked perfectly. To change your whole defensive strategy for that one particular game is like unheard of.
Early in the fourth quarter, the Celtics run off 10 straight points and begin to put the game out of reach. The gamble pays off as Boston cruises to the championship, their first since the retirement of Bill Russell. The joyous Celtics do not notice as the great Oscar Robertson ends his glorious career in disappointment. Bob Lanier achieves a distinguished NBA career as a force on both ends of the court, despite chronic knee problems.
We were roommates, and Bob stayed up a lot of nights in agony, trying to get the swelling out of his knee, the pain that was there, the pain that he had to play with. But he's a guy that has a hell of a lot of pride.
Despite his injuries, first with Detroit, then with Milwaukee, Lanier's courage and desire enables him to become an 8-time All-Star during his 14 seasons in the NBA.
I have to try to play mental games with myself. Over the years, basketball, as in any job, can get very stale to you if you don't keep yourself up emotionally or mentally.
Bob Lanier is one of the NBA's most respected stars. Preseason 1974, the first matchup of two legendary centers from UCLA. Rookie Bill Walton, in his professional debut, discovers he still has things to learn.
I think the thing that amazed me the most about him in that initial meeting was his strength. He's just an incredibly strong and powerful performer. I think that most fans of basketball look at him as a finesse and movement-oriented player as opposed to a banger or a physical player. But really, with rare exception, he was one of the strongest players I've ever played against.
I thought that he always felt a challenge in playing me, and it was a very competitive atmosphere when I played against him.
But the redhead will play less than half his rookie season and not much more in his second year. Healthy again the next season, Walton and the young Trailblazers ride the crest of playoff enthusiasm.
Lucas bats the ball away, keeps it alive. Over for Walton. Lucas with a steal. Walton.
One thing you learn as an offensive player going against a great defensive player like Jabbar is, you have to go right at him. You can't fade away from him or try to trick him. It's got to be a power move all the way against him. I got an opening at the free throw line and went in there and set him up a little bit with a fake and got a good play in on him. But it was a great play. It was a great series. It was a great series for me as an individual and for the team and city of Portland as well.
After sweeping the Lakers, Portland stumbles briefly in the finals. Then Walton and his teammates win 4 straight and the championship. Walton is the playoff MVP and receives the respect of his coach.
I've never coached a better player, I've never coached a better competitor, and I've never coached a better person than Bill Walton.
Walton joins the Clippers in 1978, but is unable to contribute due to injury until 1982. He plays sporadically for 3 seasons, then convinces the Celtics to give him a chance.
Believe it or not, I looked into his eyes, and I saw a fierce pride and fierce determination.
He came in town a few days early, and the first place that he stopped was at my house. And that said a lot about the person. You know, he wanted to make sure that I didn't feel threatened, make sure that he's going to be received very well.
Walton is a key addition as the Celtics dominate the NBA into the playoffs.
From being told that I would be lucky to even walk without a limp to being back in the NBA Finals, I mean, it's a tremendous accomplishment.
His team-oriented skills fit perfectly into Boston's style of play, and his mental toughness is there at key moments.
DJ fakes, starts to go, goes driving in, lays it up, no good. Walton, a flying rebound, lays it in. What a play by Bill Walton!
By the fourth quarter of Game 6, Boston is on the brink of their 16th NBA title.
They swing it around to Walton on the right side, off the glass, and gone! Bill Walton makes it a 28-point lead. Pandemonium loose in this garden. Pandemonium right now.
After the years of pain and frustration, Walton's passion to compete is rewarded. Bob McAdoo is considered the greatest shooting big man of all time, honored as league MVP and three-time scoring champion in the mid-70s. His ability to score from long range is unheard of for a center.
At that time, you didn't have a lot of seven-footers. You had a lot of guys my size, 6'9", 6'10", and 6'11". They might have outweighed me by 20 or 30 pounds, but my quickness made up for a lot of it. And I think that's why I was able to really score a lot of points, because I was a lot quicker than a lot of the centers in the league at that time.
Despite 4 spectacular seasons, McAdoo is criticized unfairly for being one-dimensional and begins a 5-year ordeal of being traded and getting injured.
If you listen to critics, you know, nobody in the league is a complete ball player. You're either one or the other. You're either an offensive player or a defensive player. You know, it's like a label on a soup can.
McAdoo's career is saved when he joins the Lakers in a new role off the bench.
We never felt we were taking a chance on Bob. He was out of shape when he came to us, and after about a month, we realized we probably made the best move this franchise has ever made, or one of them. And he definitely led us, and was a big key in the fact that we won the championship that year.
What a story you are this year. Tell me what your emotions are right now.
This is the happiest moment in my life right now. It's taken me 10 years to get here, and I'm finally here.
Did you ever be...
I won a championship. I said, hey, I have completed, my career is complete. If I never play another game of basketball, my career is complete, because I've been the best player in this league. I've been on the best team in this league. And I think that's what every basketball player shoots for when he first picks up a basketball.
After a brief stop in Philadelphia 4 seasons later, McAdoo is traveling again. This time to a team in the Italian League. To a team that appreciates the skills of a great scorer. The words tireless and relentless are perfect descriptions of Moses Malone, a 3-time league MVP who jumps into professional basketball directly from high school. Malone gets a taste of the national spotlight in the 1981 finals, where his refusal to back off under the boards earns the respect of the Boston Celtics. His moment will arrive 2 seasons later. Signed as a free agent by the 76ers for the 1982-83 season, Malone brings his powerful presence to complement the style and grace of Julius Erving. The fans expect much from Moses, and he delivers. The final part of a playoff contending team, Moses is the catalyst for a 4-game thrashing of New York in the playoff second round. He states emphatically that the Sixers will sweep everyone they play and will be proven not far wrong. Knick fans can't believe it. Knick coach Hubie Brown can.
Moses Malone was absolutely awesome. They cannot pay him enough. The man is a real man, and our entire team, we take our hat off to him.
The Lakers and Sixers match up for the 3rd time in 4 seasons.
Moses Malone just snared it away.
The difference this time is Moses Malone. He has an answer for every defense. And that answer is effort and power. Moses has challenged himself to be great, and he will not be denied.
If you're a great competitor, you want to play against the best. And that's what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is today in this game. And Moses knows that if he outplays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then he's the best. And that's why he's a great player. That competitiveness in him.
The series is never in doubt, and in the final moments of Game 4, the Sixers complete their mission, winning their first championship since 1967 and losing only one game in the playoffs. The man who leads them is Moses Malone. Dan Issel plays 15 seasons in pro basketball and knows the value of staying loose. The first 6 are spent in the ABA as an all-star with Kentucky. He shows the same quickness and rugged determination as a 6'9" center for the Denver Nuggets. Blessed with outstanding range on his jump shot, Issel becomes the 4th leading scorer in basketball history. His final basket is still a warm memory thanks to Coach Doug Moe.
I'll never forget either that my last game, I lost by 44 points, which was my number for all but one of my professional years. It was a last playoff game against the Lakers, and they beat us by 44 points. And I sat down, Doug took me out about halfway through the 3rd quarter, and I thought that was it. And I was sitting at the end of the bench kind of daydreaming, waiting for the clock to run out so I could go shower. And he had this bright idea, and I heard him say, "Dan." And I thought, you know what, am I dreaming? He's not hollering. And he said, "Come up here, I want you to shoot a 3-pointer. So he put me back, he drew a play, and he put me back in the game. I was wide open at the top of the key, and the good Lord was with me, I guess. He wanted me to go out on a high note and hit nothing but the nets. I think that was appropriate for an ex-ABA player.
Nicknamed the Chief, Robert Parrish is yet another center from Louisiana who will become a major star. A solid performer for the Warriors, Parrish is traded to Boston in 1980, and his game blossoms into one of the NBA's best.
Once I find the basket, I just keep trying not to break that concentration. Even though it's difficult to do when you got 7-footers flying by you. So that's what I try to do. Once I focus in, I try not to let that concentration be broken.
The mobile and graceful Chief is the quiet backbone of the Celtics, seldom getting the publicity of more famous teammates, but earning the respect of everyone. After a span of 15 years, one of the league's great rivalries is renewed. The Lakers know their historical tormentors are the Celtics, who beat them 6 times in the NBA Finals during the 1960s. The determined Lakers get out quickly as Kareem helps them to an 18-point lead. They will not be seriously threatened all day. Despite flashes of brilliance from Parrish, Kareem plays through the effects of a migraine headache with a strong 32-point effort. And the Lakers win easily 115-109.
I don't think anybody's going to give up. All we got to do is just regroup and come back and play. What happened today is history now. Nothing we can do to change that.
The surprised Celtics declare practice closed as they plot revenge. Boston adjustment on defense in Game 2 is to collapse on Kareem, and the strategy works. The game is bitterly fought, since Boston knows it cannot lose the first 2 games at home and expect to win the series. The Celtics force the game into overtime, and a crucial play by Parrish seals the victory.
McAdoo, steal, and the Boston Celtics, if they hold on, will win it.
The Lakers head home knowing they missed a fabulous opportunity. The confrontation is again one-sided in Game 3. Still angered over their loss in Game 2, the Lakers play with great emotion in front of their home fans.
Green, good position inside, blocked by Parrish.
Keeping their offense in high gear, the Lakers steamroll Boston, sending the Celtics to the worst defeat in their playoff history. The series tightens up as Boston wins 2 of the next 3 games. Game 7 will be winner take all. Kareem has another spectacular performance, scoring a game-high 29 points. But it is Parrish with a relentless 16 rebounds that tips the scales and puts LA's dream out of reach. For the 15th time, Boston's determination and will to win proves to be enough. One year later, the echoing chants in Boston Garden have not subsided. Kareem is now 38 years old, finishing his 16th NBA campaign. In Game 1, he is unable to get into the flow of the action, continually beaten down court as Boston races off to a huge lead. It will be called the Memorial Day Massacre, and the basketball world will publicly wonder, is Kareem finally too old to play this game? The challenge is clear in the wake of a 148-114 slaughter.
The only people I have to prove anything to are the Lakers. They have to have confidence in me. And as long as I'm doing my job for them, I don't get too caught up in what other people have to say.
The attitude in Boston is, it's only a matter of time until the celebration. The Lakers are finished. No one knows the thoughts of a man whose pride is on the line. For the next 2 hours, the questions are answered. Kareem's concentration is focused. And with every basket, the doubts are shattered. In 42 minutes of play, he scores 30 points and adds 17 rebounds plus 8 assists to the Lakers' victory. It is a monumental performance under great pressure.
Well, it feels good, to know that you're not dead. They had people throwing dirt on my face. It's good to know that that was a little premature.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boston Garden. And will it be a victory party for the Los Angeles Lakers, or will it be a survival for the Boston Celtics?
Following Kareem's inspired performance, the Lakers win 2 of the next 3 games, and Boston faces elimination in their own building. The Celtics hang tough in the first half. But slowly, the Lakers take over. Kareem's 29 points lead Los Angeles to victory. After 8 consecutive playoff losses to Boston, the Hex is destroyed forever, and Kareem is the unanimous choice for MVP. In 1987, the Lakers captain once again leads his team to the championship, and the following season the Lakers repeat. The first time back-to-back titles have been won since 1969. No longer the focus of the Laker offense, Kareem is still its emotional leader.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, would you like to step up here and guarantee a 3rd straight to start this off, Coach?
To the master of the Skyhook, future Hall of Famer, Kareem.
The 1989 season is a farewell tour in each NBA city. Kareem is honored not only for his all-time scoring records, his 6 MVP awards, 6 NBA championship teams, and 19 All-Star Game appearances, but also for his courage and ability to perform his best when it counts the most. Are the legendary centers only a memory? Patrick Ewing of the Knicks and Hakeem Olajuwon of the Rockets have the size, speed, and athletic ability to dominate a game from the center position. Their rivalry has the expectation of a classic matchup that fans can debate for years to come.